who we got to kick out then? Because are you trying to expand? Are you the next
Burke? We're always trying to expand. I mean, the whole purpose is to, do business, and so you don't turn away business. So you're always growing because smart business people add business.
Okay, give your shameless set. How do we contact you? I mean, you got a fancy new website, right?
Nope,
and Facebook and
I
stuff like that.
I got Facebook and Instagram, but no fancy website. But that's about it.
Oh,
I'm on the thing.
We got that's the future, right?
That's the future. That's who I'm doing this all for.
Okay. And, how many kids do you have?
Two.
Two
daughters.
Okay, and she's how old?
She's 5.
She's 5, and what's the other one?
The other one's Gracie, and she's 8.
Okay, so are they? I mean, she's obviously here, so she's helping.
No school today.
Oh,
yeah, it's a holiday.
What's today?
Memorial Weekend. Friday and Monday.
Back when we were in school,
I know,
we only got one day for Memorial Day. What do they got? Friday, Monday, Tuesday?
Well, actually, I grew up in Canada, so this is actually a big weekend in Canada, and I got Friday and Monday off.
What's it in Canada?
Memorial Day, I think. Yeah, Memorial.
Is it the same thing?
I think so.
Has Canada fought in any wars?
I'm sure they did.
I mean, they send like 2 soldiers and you get a Memorial Day?
We probably send submarines.
Submarines, okay. So you guys had
we call it May 2-4 weekend. It's a big weekend up there. Fireworks everywhere.
May 2-4?
Yeah, everyone gets a 2-4 of beer and they all go out camping.
Oh, okay, I got it. So yeah, I mean, this is. Do you have any barbecue plans or?
No, I don't. I'm racing. I got 5 in at Meadowlands tonight, 5 tomorrow, and then the family's headed up to New York on Sunday, which I won't be attending. And then Monday I also got a race, so no.
Okay, so you're a busy man. How do you man everything from here? Are you going to the races? Are you...
Tonight I'm going to Meadowlands. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to Meadowlands. Monday I'm not going to Yonkers because Sunday I got 2 in at Saratoga, so I'll be going there, which is a late night getting home. Okay. So Monday I'll be watching them from home on my iPad.
Okay, how many total do we have?
Altogether?
Yeah.
I think there's 44 in here right
44. Now. How many babies?
16.
16 2-year-olds, right?
Yes.
And I'm assuming, is that number going to start to be more 2-year-olds? Like, is that... what's...
I'll never get away from the racehorses.
Okay.
Because for me, the racehorses pay for the babies.
Okay.
I try to have everyone that's got babies in here. If they've got a racehorse racing all winter, well, it pays for that baby.
Sure.
So the babies don't make money there's no income coming in for 6-7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well have something else paying for it, and that way nobody ever seems like they're just putting out money. At least there's some money coming in.
Right. Now, the ultimate goal, obviously, since this is a Hambletonian interview, one of those babies,
I'm hoping,
at some point, got to win the Hambletonian.
That's what I'm hoping.
Right?
Yes.
So let's start training a Hambletonian winner. Have you... Because you work for Casie Coleman, right?
Yeah, which was no trotters.
No trotters at all. So was there other... Was she the only one you worked for?
No, I worked for Bill Robinson for 2 years, but he also had no trotters at the time.
Okay, so obviously the pinnacle of theirs is... What's the... Is it the Breeders' Crown pace? Is it...
I think for Casie it would be Little Brown Jug.
Okay.
And for everybody else, it's one of the big 3. I mean, you got the North American Cup, which goes for the most money. You've still got the Meadowlands Pace, which hopefully goes back up to big money. And then, I think everybody else puts a jug or one of those Lexington races on their book, where you can get a big, huge speed badge.
Sure. So you obviously have trotters.
Yes.
And you've started in the Hambletonian.
Twice.
So you're already a better trainer than Casie.
Negative.
How many Hambletonian starters has she had?
She's got $60 million in earnings.
That's not... What
stats are stats.
That's not what I had. How many Hambletonian starters does she have?
She's never had a trotter to
Big fat 0. You've had 2. 2 is bigger than 0, so therefore...
Starting in it. Anybody can start in it, though. I mean,
stats
you can go buy a trotter and a 10 claimer.
How much money have you earned in the Hambletonian?
I'm not sure.
Because you got 2 fourths? A 4th and a 5th? What was...
Waitlifter K was 3rd in the limb and 4th in the final.
Right.
And then Lawmaker did not make the final.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was 5th, so he didn't make the
final.
Okay,
but it's still... Okay, 4th is 80 grand?
Somewhere around there.
Okay, so 2 starts to 0 to Casie. 80 plus thousand, 0. So therefore...
It's very lopsided looking at it, but all right.
Therefore, those are the only stats we're going to go for.
All right.
So... Let's talk about your Hambletonian experience. You're from Canada.
Yes.
So there's really no, other than you have to see it, whether it's newspaper or, YouTube or radio or whatever was on TV. That was your Hambletonian exposure probably early on, right? So what was your first just memory, anything? as a kid, as a young adult?
You know, as a kid, I remember trying to get through the crowd at Flamborough Downs to watch it on the TV in the paddock. Everybody would came around because we'd still be racing. It was afternoon racing. We'd still be racing.
How old are you then?
I'm probably, 7, 8, something like that.
Okay.
You know, and all I can remember is having so many people around it that I could never actually get to watch it. You know?
Nobody put you on your shoulders or
No,
nothing?
I mean, so, you're fighting around trying to get to a bad angle to watch it and stuff like that. And it's a... Their excitement from watching it makes you excited, even though you don't really understand it yet.
Sure.
How big of a race it is, but just the excitement of every single person in that paddock watching that race at that moment, you realize it's a big deal.
I would assume, other than maybe the North American Cup, there's probably no other race that's happening in the paddock where everybody's.
Well, for me, the Confederation Cup when growing up, because I grew up around Flamborough, so the Confederation Cup was a big deal. And
well, I just mean a simulcasted race.
Oh, yeah, Meadowlands Pace.
Okay, Meadowlands
Pace. You remember they used to go for $1 million in that race.
That's true. Yeah.
It was a big deal. So, the Meadowlands Pace was always a big one too that we always watched on the TV, whether we were racing or we weren't.
Sure. So, what was the first time you actually ventured down to? Because in our lifetime, it's always been at the Meadowlands.
Yes.
What was the first experience there as a fan, or were you working with Casie or somebody where they raced on Hambletonian Day?
I did race on Hambletonian Day.
That was your first time there live?
That was my first time there live. And I don't even remember what year it was.
We're old now.
Yeah, I'm getting old
that's
now.
What happens.
It's 10 years ago anyways, 10 or 11, whenever I first got down here. Whatever first year I got down here, I remember that we raced on that day.
Who raced?
I can't even tell you that.
Okay, so it's just
my memory's good. My memory's good, but I can't remember the exact horses we raced on certain days.
Okay. So were you able to?
If I had to guess, I'm going to say it was probably an aged horse in like the William Houghton or something like that.
Okay. Did you guys win on Hambletonian Day? Because not only the Hambletonian, but there's 10 other stakes races for each division.
It's possible.
It's possible. She's just winning so much.
Yeah.
Except the Hambletonian.
Yeah, except the Hambletonian.
So remember, 2 starters, $80,000 in the Hambletonian. When you was Waitlifter K your first Hambletonian starter?
Yes.
So let's talk about that going into it. Yeah, you ended up. The horse was sent to you a couple months before?
Yeah, he was sent to me end of February, early March.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time zone.
Oh, we got people calling.
Turn that on silent.
Okay.
And I didn't have anything even remotely that good. It was actually my first year on my own.
Okay.
So,
first year on your own, like in March, February, March.
Yeah.
How long had you been on your own before?
Well, I did it different than most people. Casie was downsizing in the winter so badly that, I'd have like hardly any horses. So in the winters I'd add horses of my own and start training my own.
Okay.
And then eventually they were doing good enough that I couldn't get rid of them in the summer, so I was doing 2 jobs.
Okay.
And I did that for 2 years where I'd have, and by the end of the last year I had more horses than she did.
Okay.
And then finally it had come time that I had said, all right, well, I can't do 2. I got to concentrate on my own. I'm getting too many horses. And then I went and said, okay, no more Casie. Let's just work on mine.
Sure.
And that was my first year.
How mad was she?
Okay. She was upset.
She was mad, right?
Yeah, she was mad.
Did she like throw coffee at you? Or
no, because she was hardly ever here, so it's always over the phone.
Okay, I'm sure she knew it was coming.
I'm sure she said some bad words behind my mouth or behind my back, and she'll never admit it.
Listen, you never want to lose one of your top in any business when somebody helps you get to where you are, and I'm not saying that you helped her, but you helped sustain whatever operation she had.
It's like a circus, and a monkey does his job, and when that monkey goes, another one comes in,
and then moves on. So, you were already kind of like you said on your own. You got Did you just got a phone call out of the blue?
I did. Bob Key had called me and said that he wanted me to try Waitlifter K this year, and it wasn't because Chuck had done anything wrong with the horse. It was because Chuck had a horse similar caliber that he had owned.
Okay.
And Bob had an issue with that and said, so I want you to take the horse.
Okay.
And so,
Did you already have horses with Bob?
I did,
okay.
But raceway horses, not stakes horses.
Okay.
So it was definitely a big step up, and I owe him for it because it was a great experience and a very good.
Okay, so you get off the phone. Do you jump? Because even just the opportunity to get a horse like that, I mean,
he was a nice 2-year-old, but I didn't know he was that level.
Okay. So you just figured you'd get a nice solid 3-year-old.
A real nice 3-year-old, but was I thinking that it was going to be a horse that gave me the some of the big races that we went in and stuff like that. I didn't know at that time that he was going to be that type of horse.
Did Bob tell you, hey, listen, this is a Hambo horse? Or he just said, I'm sending you the horse?
He called me up and said, I got a really nice horse that I want you to take. Told me the reasons why I want to take it, and then when to pick it up, and then told me to call him when I know what I'm doing with him.
Okay. So, you get the horse, and whether it was the first time you trained him or first time you raced him, when we were like, all right, we got ourselves a horse here.
I think right away. One thing about Waitlifter K was he was just a gorgeous animal.
Okay.
So when he walked in the barn, he just had presence.
Okay.
And, when a horse has that, and when he makes everyone stop and say, who is that? They usually have talent. I don't know what it is, but if they have presence, they have talent.
Sure.
And he walked in the barn, and I just like, oh, what a beast. And, every time he went on the track, he did this thing where he'd walk out to the track. He'd stand on the track for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Wouldn't walk. Just stand
chill
there and just watch everybody else. And you could ask him all you wanted. He didn't start work until he wanted to start work. Okay. He had a mind of his own, but he was one of the coolest horses ever.
And as you're competing in these races, before the Hambletonian, how many did he win? Was he, because I can't remember, that was a couple of years ago.
It was a couple of years ago. I remember we went to
did he win at Vernon?
He won the Zweig at Vernon in 52.
What was it? It was the final or the consolation? But he was the fastest one.
Yes, he went in 52 and 2.
And that was from what I remember, that was like the mile of the day.
Well, and it wasn't a nice night that night,
Right.
So it was storming and rainy, so he actually he went a huge mile. But I think we only had maybe one race into him before that, and now we're at 2, and he actually run.
Okay.
Brian Sears had drove him. He had run leaving the gate, and then
Special K Matty.
Then I called Matt, see if Matt would drive him, because Sears didn't have faith in him after the break. And Matty said, yep, absolutely. And then Matty got on him, and I don't think Matty knew much about him either. Uh-huh. And he just got off and said, dude, this is a nice horse.
It's a nice horse, yeah.
We had Hambo bound? I said, yeah, we're Hambo bound.
So now, there was heat. So there was 2-3 weeks probably between the Zweig and the Hambletonian.
Yes, I should have looked up his lines before you came in for this interview.
No, that's fine.
My memory
That's fine. But those 3 weeks, you had probably 3 weeks between those. So again, heat's on the same day.
Yeah.
So was there ever any doubt leading up to entering him? Because that's a nice check. You got it right.
Yeah, I wasn't so concerned about him. He was such a natural that his cardio was unbelievable. Like, I mean, you'd come in after training and he wasn't blown. His heart rate was great. He never, ever ended up being a horse that, you train and said, oh, I think he's short. He always finishes miles, running through the bit. Mm-hmm. And we added more work to him going into the Hambo. And he never, ever ended up looking tired, acting tired, nothing like that. So his cardio was just so good that I don't think that, he was just such a natural that he didn't need anything extra differently. He's just one of those ones that you probably could have put in and, could have raced.